Hi everyone, guess what? I have a new Artsnacks Plus box. So I got an email about a month ago promoting the July box and it sounded really good. I guess July is watercolor month and so they were talking about watercolor and great brands and all, so I wanted to try. And so I only signed up for this July box, and so let's see what's going on. Unfortunately, my mailman didn't think about opening my screen door to protect the box from the rain, so when I get home it was all wet. I did open the box to make sure the paper was okay, but I did not look at what else we had in there. So let's check it out. So the paper is Fabriano Studio watercolor, and it's only 25% cotton. So it's not the Fabriano Artistico, which is the artist version of this. This is more of the student version. It's 140 pounds and it's hot pressed, and there's 12 sheets in there, 9 by 12 sheets. It's super smooth. Now, not being 100% cotton might not be that great for all watercolor styles. That said, you can use it for things like colored pencils, for instance. So let's see what else we have in there. We have a set of 3 micron pens, a 0.8, a 10, and a 12. So they're really big tips, and it's all in black. And a double bubble chewing gum, Artsnacks washi tape, and what kind of watercolor stuff did we get? What's that fancy brand they were talking about? We've got a water brush by, I don't know, it looks like a plain water brush, like a generic brand. Doesn't say who it's by. It looks like a medium or a large tip. And the brush, I don't know if you can see that, but the bristles feel loose in there. But it might not mean anything. Maybe it's really good. And we have a Daniel Smith 5mm watercolor tube, so it's really tiny. And it's a phthalo blue red shade. That's a very good brand. Hopefully we have more than one, because like I said, it's a really small one. Cretacolor Fine Art Graphite, an F graphite pencil by Cretacolor. The little sticker. Oh no. No. This is the third time I get an art crayon by Marabu in an Artsnacks box, and I never liked those crayons. They're water soluble, and Marabu is a good brand. I like their stuff usually, except for this. So yeah, I'm bummed. So here's the loot for the month of July. I'm surprised we didn't get a full-size tube of watercolor, and I'm surprised we're getting one of these again. These are nice and creamy when you use them as crayons, but when you add water, they dissolve pretty well, but you cannot get a uniform coloring with this. It gets streaky, so I've always fought using these. The bonus art prompt for the Artsnacks Plus box says, use the white Artsnacks box as a blank canvas, decorated using all the supplies from your box, or just a few. Mine get kind of damaged by the rain, so I might not do that. I'm going to try these out and see what I can do. For once, I was happy to see some micron fine liners, because these sizes are new. I don't have them except for the 0.8. The other ones, the 10 and the 12, they're really big and they're actually really fun to use. You can fill in the big areas pretty fast, so it's really neat. The graphite pencil is a graphite pencil. Nothing new here. I've got so many of those. I received so many of them in different boxes that's it. And then the Marabu art crayon. It's really soft and creamy when you apply it straight on the paper. But again, when you dilute it, it dilutes well, but it's not very uniform on the paper. You can see the crayon marks underneath, and it's hard to make a smooth, uniform area with it. When you try to pull the pigment straight from the crayon with a brush, it doesn't work very well. It's very faint. I think this crayon is just not very pigmented. And then it's the same thing if you try to draw on a palette and make a wash and use that like watercolor. It doesn't work very well. So that's why I don't like those crayons. If you only use it as crayons and to block in large areas, then that's just fine. But the water-soluble part is just not very good in my opinion. Also for the water brush, I have one identical, so I decided to use this one first instead of staining the bristles of the new one. And then of course the Daniel Smith watercolor is really beautiful. I didn't actually have this color, which I'm very happy about. So I put some washi tape around the area that I wanted to draw, knowing that it would really not matter because I didn't really want to draw a background on my drawing, so that frame didn't really matter. Because the only two colors that I had, well, I guess I could have used the black for the background, but I certainly wouldn't have used the red because it would have really been too bright against the bright blue also. My goal was to do a monochromatic portrait with that beautiful blue, and it worked pretty well, except that I was not very fond of the brush. It's very, very hard to control the flow, and there's always a lot of water coming out. So I ended up also using the new brush at some point to see if I had the same problem with the flow, and I did. I also ended up with a little bristle sticking out. It happens sometimes with brushes, and I decided to just pull on it to see if I could just remove it, and I had a few bristles just coming right out of the brush, which was a little scary. And it happened again later on when I had that one bristle sticking out. I pulled it out and it came right out. So I was not really fond of that brush. What I ended up doing was emptying the tank of that brush and using it with a little jar of water instead, using it like a regular brush rather than the water brush. That way I was able to control the amount of water that I was using, and then it worked a lot better for me. So the portrait itself looks a bit messy because of the lack of control of water. Maybe if I had done the switch earlier, it would have looked a little bit better, but that's okay. I'm just practicing, and I think it doesn't look that bad. Now for the fine liners, I use them to define the branches and little flowers in the hair, just to make them stick out more. What I really wanted to do was to just do the whole thing just with the blue, but I had to use all the supplies. So I also lined the whole drawing, the face and the bust, And then I used a black also for the hair. And finally, I used a crayon to just add berries because I really didn't want to use it for anything else. I just do not like it, in case I haven't told you yet. The last thing I wanted to do is create a little frame. So I used the edges of the washi tape as a ruler. And with the biggest of the 3 fine liners, I followed the edges. And then I removed the washi tape and I had my nice and straight frame. So this box wasn't the best. It was not bad at all, you know, but I wished, for instance, that the paper had been the Fabriano Artistico rather than the Fabriano Studio. For one, there's not a very big difference in prices. And considering the other supplies in that box, it would have made sense because none of those supplies are very expensive. I wish the tube of paint was a bigger one, not a little sample size. But I'm happy with that paint. I'm happy that it's a color I didn't have before. I'm happy that I got those micron pens also. The brush was junk, unfortunately. Again, I'm a pretty big fan of Marabu supplies, but that brush was not very good. And the art crayon, well, I already told you my feelings about that. Especially the fact that it's the 3rd time that I get some in an Artsnacks box. So anyways, it was still fun to receive a new box and do a challenge. It's been a while. I'm not going to get another box anytime soon. Maybe the next one will be the one for Inktober, but I'm not even sure I will because the last couple years they've been sending the same type of items for the October box for Inktober. And I'm definitely not spending $90 for their special Inktober box. So that's it for today. Hope you like this little review and the challenge. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel. Thank you all for stopping by. Have a wonderful day, everyone. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye-bye.